Well, hello, friends. I was in the middle of doing laundry, and it gave an opportunity to take a break because I had a really unique thought. Um, there are some down. That's a lie. There's a lot of downsides to having a TBI and autism, right? Because they don't go together. But today I was sitting there, just kind of like moving through my day because I have to be very much so self-aware on how I move because the wrong move or too fast of a move in the wrong direction, I can end up on the floor. Uh, People have seen this. Many people have seen this. This is why if you see me out in the streets, I'm usually walking very slowly and very present, you know. But that self-awareness really played a role in how I started, thinking realistically. I had no thoughts or emotions to go off of in the beginning, so it was just silence. Okay. And then things started happening. I started learning about body responses. This is down the line. Things are happening, downloads are happening, parts of the brain are trying to wake itself up from the damage. The medicines they were always throwing at me, what's wrong with your head, let's try to fix it. There's always change, constant change. And there's one thing that autism will do is notice a pattern, and there is one thing that TBI doesn't like is constant change, which kind of fits with autism because neither one of those like constant change or change in large drastic amounts for that matter. So that's what this has been for the past 3 months / 6 years. More recently, I've been having some recall of a lot of different things, as well as traveling. What they don't tell you about the TBI, I think because most people aren't into the construct of real spiritualism, but I guess until you truly see the other side, aka grow your own set of wings, as some would say, you won't really know what it's like to be that. Now, there's been people who've had NDEs, those, near-death experiences, and those would do a lot for you too. Very eye-opening, introspective, call it ego death sometimes, where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna live life way more intently now because that was way too close. Genius, that's a good move. Definitely do that, and then follow your intuition, because at that point now, you're probably gonna be thinking about it like, there was a moment in that situation where I felt I shouldn't have been there, or I should have moved, or blah 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 blah. Right? Your body's gonna tell you something. It always does. It's a self-preservation, machine. It doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to. It knows it's going to. It's inevitability. But the first thing it's going to do is try to keep itself alive while the consciousness is still in there. Which is what? Alright, anyway. So, as I've been building these memories passively over the past 6 years, I am now consciously, involuntarily recalling situations. And that came with peace. That doesn't mean you have to have peace in your environment sometimes all the time, because not everybody has that. But to be able to find a place to have peace is good. I learned to make peace in chaos. I didn't really have a choice, realistically, at all. Like, I was thrown into the fire, greased, baked up with all the flour and everything. I was KFC ready for crisp, you know? And I walked right out that mug like, so what's next? You know? Not because I had fear, I didn't have fear. There's a lot of that shit. Humans are weird. Y'all motherfuckers just be doing shit. It just doesn't make sense. You know, people are like, you're 38. I'm like, not really, but whatever. You know, depends on who you're asking. But yeah, y'all confuse me. So now that I'm away from the massive amounts of confusion, and that's no hate. That's just the world. This is coming from my perspective. One that just started literally 6 years ago and became conscious of itself only 3 years, 3.5, 4 years ago. Listen, okay, this is me giving you my thoughts and things. It's like a behind the scenes ride into my roller coaster of a life. You know, I'm pretty pumped about what's going on. Not pumped about, like, you know, some other things, but those things don't really matter because there's greater things happening, you know. And my intuition has been leading me in the directions I need to go. And when I'm not in alignment, oh, do I feel it? How do you do that? Well, you know those moments when you're saying something and you have like a bodily function where you're like talking to somebody and then you'll say something and be like, or like hiccup or something, like, oh shit, like, what? Where'd that come from? And people are like, yeah, that was random. It's confirmation. It's your body responding to what you just said. So someone who's paying attention, like me, I notice these things. So when I'm talking to myself, because I do that to understand and overstand myself, and I don't really care who hears me, because in the end, you should probably do it too. Because if you keep it in your head, it's really easy to lose it. I should know. I had a problem with that very, very early in the game. Okay? It still sucks, but it was not as bad as it was before. Yeah. I just actually talked to my therapist about that. I remembered some random woman's name. Threw me for a loop. Her name was Molly. It's not a girl that I know, because I know one in Pennsylvania. This one, she feels like older, you know, like. But I don't know who she. I just have a name, you know. But I know I did feel like this, like there's like this pain, you know, that came with that name that just randomly popped in my head, you know. I remember what the prompt question was. It was said, well, you know, your first girlfriend. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It was me researching something and doing important things for my life. Picking up the pieces was what was left over from the life before. Just aligning things. Taking my light and leftover pieces and the darkness, but that's been there, and I brought it all together. Period. That's what it was. I just brought it all together. It became one. You know, a lot of people are like, well, we've seen different versions of you. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear none of that. Y'all can hear different versions. Nope. Nah. AZ, right here. You know what I'm saying? The architect. The how. You know, how do you get closer to being in your body? Listening. You know your body talks to you, right? It does. It tells you all the time. That's why you get sick. Duh. why I don't get sick, except for this one time. It's like a permanent stain on my record right now. Anyway, that's your body telling you something. You know, and in my world, my body's always telling me something nonstop. From autism to TBI to trigeminal nerve damage to cervical damage, thoracic damage, lumbar damage, discs, bulging, nerve damage, spondylitis. I'm not going to keep this list going, actually. I realize how long this list goes on for. That's why I enjoy my life. I woke up in the middle of some shit. Multiple times. Like, I restarted life for, like, mad times. It was like, what did that movie they call it? Groundhog, 50 dates with a groundhog? Whatever. You probably know what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm mixing two movies, though. I think I'm mixing two movies. I think one's called, like, 50 Dates, because it's got Adam Sandler in it. Yeah. And that lady. And then one is, like, Groundhog Days, like, the guy keeps living the same day over and over again. These were things told to me. I never really, like, actually viewed, but that's how people were trying to correlate to or relate to my experience. Early days. Still to this day, actually, people say that. I'm still like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Then we not just... It's okay, though. I get a laugh out of it, really. Just, my humor is not as humorous because I'm like a Dave Chappelle, kind of funny. I'm an intelligent, kind of funny. You gotta think. And if you're not ready for how fast it happens, you probably think I'm being offensive. There's probably a chance I am, but I'm a comedian. And I just find things that humans do to be really funny and weird, and I just like pointing it out because I don't do that, and I try really hard not to do that because I watch it not work for a lot of people. Still to this day, I am watching them on their you know people do social media. Long story short, at all, no. Listen to your body more. There's a lot going on with your Wi-Fi and your stuff like that, and in your days, there's a lot of shock factor in the world happening too. A lot to keep you unearthed. It's not about grounding. It's about rooting. Rooting in who you are. By taking the time during your unearthing to find out what was under those roots. And sometimes that dirt ain't good for you. That turned into be a really cool metaphor out of absolutely nowhere. Alright, channel message sent to you from your boy. All in all, I want to thank you guys. This wasn't easy. Especially now I'm getting recall of how foul people were to me when they found out that I couldn't recall who they were. Is this still recording? Yeah, it's still going. I think that's the thing that's really hurting me the most. And if you see this video and you're one of those people, don't come back. Don't come back. Stay where you are. Why? I know who you are now. You can't fake it. You can't lie to me now. I know who you are. And because you treated me that way, oh boy, I'm gonna let you know that I'm not dishing out karma. I am taking that memory and that energy from that memory, and I'm going to use that to make the most amazing creations ever. So now you can only see me through a screen. There you go. I tried to be friendly. I tried to be stern while learning to be a human. I'm not going to go into details into what has happened to me aside from some of the things I've already shared. But I for damn sure tell you, it's worth a movie or definitely a documentary. And I'll just keep documenting myself if that's the case. I mean, who else knows me better than me? I've got a camera and I'm doing it right now. So, yeah, for the ones who've been here from day one, my day one, which is 12/1/2019. Okay? That's my day one. You've been there and stayed and didn't do anything ridiculous. Some of you get a pass. Some of you do not get a pass. Some of y'all, I'm gonna be like, you got 10 seconds to turn around. Or you got 10 seconds to turn around. Because we're not doing this. I'm listening to my body. People ask me all the time, how do you stay so grounded or rooted in who you are? It's because I've been unearthed so many times. Literally, just unearthed for no reason. If it's just because of someone else's lack thereof. It's okay. I hold no remorse. Because then that means I'm holding on to a negative thing. I am the king of let it go. Started that way involuntarily. Now, whatever. If I don't need you to exist, I won't. Period. It's really simple. I want you guys to see this side of me. The real side of me. The same side you see every day. Nothing changes. I'm always like this. And for the ones who always watch my videos, I'm like, yeah, no. He's like this in person and no matter what. Authenticity. Listen to your body. That's how I stay so authentic. I listen to my body. If I don't like you, I'm not going to block up my throat chakra by saying, hi friend, we're going to be cool forever. And be like, no, we're not friends. We're like, no. I'm not sticking around for your BS. For what? It is not benefiting you and it for darn sure is not benefiting me. So that's not being selfish on my end, that's being situationally aware. And I am aware that you are a situation that I don't feel like being around. So I'm leaving. Bye. I don't have to say any more than that. Neither do you. Protect your energy, friends. Okay? Listen to your damn body. Other than that, we'll talk about it more if you got questions in the comments.